Hi everyone, my name is Dana, and this is one of the first times in a while that I'm drawing and working on a YouTube video. With the holidays, it's been really stressful, a lot of things going on, but now I'm actually sitting down, I'm able to focus, and I got my nice warm cup of coffee right here, and I'm ready to go. So I'm just gonna draw one of my characters. I'm gonna show you how I get started and how I draw and sketch and ink and how I come up with the concepts and things like that. So first thing I'm going to do is think of the pose I'm going to do in my head, and I'm going to, and it doesn't have to be exact because sometimes I'll start drawing them, I change my mind about 5 times and then I wind up erasing. So, but I think I'm going to draw my character Kaylee, because it's been a while since I've drawn her. So I just usually start with drawing her head. So yeah, I'm going to start making a series of YouTube videos where I start talking about inspiration and drawing and getting the motivation to do so. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on it myself because I get drained and I get tired and I want to start motivating myself to get it out there again and to start updating comic pages, which I actually did before Christmas. I updated it, and also I did not have the internet. My dad had the Wi-Fi, so I used his account, and it worked great for the last 2 years since I've moved out of my parents' house. I've been able to use their internet, and they had no problem with it. And in fact, they encouraged it because they knew I was trying to save money, and so they had no problem with me just using his username and password and connecting to their Wi-Fi. I mean, of course, it was just like a hotspot, so it wasn't technically his Wi-Fi, but it still did it worked for a while until the day after Christmas. Suddenly, it decided it didn't want to work for anything. So I have a Mac and a laptop and my phone, and I couldn't get online on any of those, and there was a lot of work. And I'm also doing a couple projects here and there. So I work on my webcomic, but I also want to get started on freelance designing. So I'm doing a project right now where I'm making wedding invitations, and which I've actually finished, but now for another part of the wedding, my clients want to make candy bars, so they want to use the same designs for the wedding invitations I created to use on the candy bars, which is perfectly okay and doable. But when I wanted to get it done and send it over to them, I could not send it over to them over the internet. So for a little bit, my laptop was kind of working, but it was really finicky. But then suddenly my laptop stopped working, and I said, okay, I need to get the Wi-Fi, and I need it now because I can't function like this. I need to have internet. So finally I had it installed, and it's working, and I'm able to get everything done. I don't have to transfer files, and I don't have to go from my Mac to my laptop, then try to upload it from my laptop, which is taking super slow because it's on a slow connection. So in the end, it's a-okay. And now that that's over with, I can start, working on this. So right now, I don't really have her in any particular pose. I'm just gonna have her like that. I'm just kind of going with the flow. I'm not really overthinking it right now, and I feel, and that's something that I want to discuss, is when you want the motivation to draw and you can't think of anything, it's best just not to overthink it. Just get it done. Just draw don't even think of just whatever pops in your mind or doesn't pop in your mind. Nothing's really popping in my mind right now, and probably because, one, I'm multitasking, two, I can't really think anyway because I have outside noise going on. They're actually doing work, and so I hear a lot of the jackhammer going on and drilling and all that fun stuff. So, but hey, that's not stopping me. I'm keeping on going, and I'm just kind of let my pencil go and just let it do it at once. And so that's one of the reasons that holds us back from drawing, is we overthink. And if we overthink drawing, then we worry about it being perfect, and then we worry about it having so many mistakes, and then are other people gonna like it? Are they not gonna like it? And then that could stop us from drawing altogether. So, I mean, for the warm-up sketches, I'm not really overthinking it very much. So, working on her pants. So if you follow my comic from a while ago, you probably noticed that, my intention from the beginning was to give her curves and to make her not super skinny like you would see her in a lot of anime series or manga. So I wanted to make her, just look like a healthy, normal girl, not super skinny. So I think I still made her a little skinny just because I haven't really drawn her a long time. And I'm looking for an eraser because I made her hand too short, but you can't see that. So you know what? I can't find one at the moment. I'm just going to sketch over it real quick, and you can't see it, so I'm just going to see. There it is. So I made it. I wanted it like that, but I'll go back and fix that. See? Problem solved. It's all gone. You can't see it. Don't tell anyone. Nobody has to know. So I'll go ahead and start inking. And sometimes even when I start inking, if there's something I don't like about what I do with the pencil lines, I'll just fix it with the pen. So the pens I like to use are called Faber-Castell, and I go between the small and, which you can see the S, and then I guess this stands for extra small, the XS. So these I've used these for years. I think I'm going to switch over because I do like the thin lines, and I can always thicken them up. So I don't have to worry about, because you can always make it thicker. Can't make it thinner. Plus it's good because if I make any little mistakes with the thin pen, you can easily fix it, kind of draw on top of it if you drew a certain line. If you didn't make it far out enough, you could go back over it and drag it out. And then there's Photoshop, so you could do that too. But I am trying to use Photoshop less and less. I'm trying to make it as accurate as I can doing it on paper, because it's convenient a lot of times, but sometimes it's a lot more work than it's worth. So after you draw quite a bit, you start to get better. So I used to have to adjust everything from the eyes, the nose, the mouth. I'd have to adjust the neck, like every part of her body. It's like I'd have to go on Photoshop and practically redraw it. So, but now I just kind of tweak little things here and there if something seems off. But for the most part, I try not to edit as much anymore like I used to. See, I'm just going over right now. And so finding the motivation to draw, especially, so I'm not working right now. I actually lost my job about 2 months ago, right before Halloween. I was working at a place that wasn't really great, but, you know, I was able to pay, you know, I bought my home with it, and although I had to make a ton of sacrifices, and it pays for me and my kitty. And actually, my cat, I adopted there. They had an adoption day a couple years back, and actually 1 year ago. I'm sorry. Seemed like it seems like I had them longer than I thought. So yeah, in September, I believe the 21st, which is my mom's birthday, is when I adopted him, and actually brought him home that day. So it's easy to remember his birthday because he shares the same day as my mom, the day I brought him home. So he's 3 years old, and I'm going to take a break while I share him right now. He is right next to me sleeping. There he is. Hi, bud. Yeah. Hey, look, and he's out. So he's a good boy. Can get him my nurse 5:30 in the morning when he wants food, but other than that, he is good company. He likes being around me. He likes when I have company over, which is great. He's not super sociable, but he's not mean either, and he gets along with kids, and, you know, he'll just kind of, we have a little get together, he'll just kind of sit there, stand on the side, and just kind of observe, almost like he wants to be included in the crowd, but he's just a watcher. So he just likes to see what's going on. But so that was one thing that was good, that came from my old job. So apparently they laid a ton of people off, and I was one of the ones that got the cut, which I'm not disappointed at all. It was not the best place to work for, but coworkers were nice, boss was okay, everything else was pretty awful. Which I believe is why that place is going downhill. But I'm not going to say anything. So, but hey, you know, good things did come out of it. Being in the HR world, I learned a lot. And from being somebody who had severe anxiety when it came to phones to someone who actually tells people off now over the phone, to the point where I've actually been pulled to the side and say, hey, you gotta knock it off. You gotta calm down. Because sometimes I get a little too argumentative now. But hey, that's what happens when you take angry phone calls all the time. You become angry. So, but yeah, I mean, I still have a little anxiety when it comes to phones, but not nearly as much as I used to. And to this day, I do not want a job where I'm answering phones. I mean, if I get a receptionist job, okay, but my goal for this year, 2019, is to start my own business and to start making money and to focus on this and to sell my webcomic, which I actually have in print, and it's right here on the right side by me, Dana. And you can go on my website on the bright side, otbscomic.com, and check it out there. And there's my book on the right side, and it's sold through Etsy. You can also go on my main website, muscaprint.com. I'll put both links in the description. So if you buy it, I would love you forever, and it'll help me support myself, my kitty cat, and also come up with new content and possibly provide better quality content to you. So that would be great. But also I like to, it's neat when I go to conventions and I sell it and people actually like it and then they give me feedback and it just warms my heart when they say, oh, I either I saw you online or I picked it up and I bought it yesterday. Saw you yesterday at your table, decided to buy it, and now I love it, and that just makes me super happy. That it actually makes me happy that I have people who read my comic, which from the very beginning when I wrote this, so basically it's a little love story about two characters named Jacob and Kaylee, and they're childhood friends, and they're separated. Kaylee moves to another state, and she returns 8 years later, and it just revolves around what happens when they become friends. So it's just a feel-good story. And I'm looking for my eraser. Eraser, where are you? Eraser. It is not here. I am going to have to step away for 10 seconds to find one. Oh, it's so close yet so far. It's on the table next to me, right next to Sam. There it is. Okay, here we go. Like I knew I had to have one around here somewhere. So yeah, I'm just so grateful that I do have so many people who read this, which in the very beginning when I did start drawing it, I didn't think I was going to have any readers. I'm thinking, oh, this story's so dumb and it's so cheesy. Why would anyone like it? And and I thought it was, and most surprising of all, I thought it would be because it's a love story, and it's even back in my later years of high school when I was drawing this, I was thinking, only chicks are gonna read it. I mean, I think anyone can sort of enjoy it, but I think this is just a story that's gonna attract chicks. But there are a ton of guys that read this, which I'm surprised. So that's kind of like, oh, guys like romance too. So that's pretty cool. I like that, and I had a couple guys who recently contacted me saying, oh, I love your story, and both guys and girls, and which is pretty awesome that it's like, it is for everybody. Just about. It's probably PG-13 rated, but nothing graphic. A little bit of language, especially since I was younger. I threw more language in there, and no F-bombs. But, in my later years I've calmed down and said, you know what? I'm just gonna, it doesn't need it. So if I could rewrite, that's another thing with my story. I go back and what I wrote, and I'll reread it and I'm like, I wish I could have changed that. I wish I could have done this, done that. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm not gonna redo it. I already drew this comic twice. Actually, like 3 times. I started in high school, probably redid it again back in 2003 after I graduated high school. Then I didn't, probably 2009, 10, I can't remember, but it was still several years ago. I decided to redraw it once again because it wasn't good art. So a few people were disappointed, but I just wasn't happy with it. So I'm sorry. But now I'm happier with it. It's still, if it were up to me and if I had the time and motivation, I probably would have gone back again and redraw the whole thing and rethink the story. I did not plan out the story very well. It's still not really planned out, and right now, and you know what? there were a couple times where I'm like, I think I drew myself into a corner where I feel like things are conflicting and my story is starting to not make sense, and I'm trying to make it entertaining at the same time, especially when there's slow moments, and that's really hard. And then on top of one, not having time, two, just having self-doubt about my own art and my abilities, and and then seeing everyone else's comics and drawings and seeing how detailed and beautiful and professional an 18-year-old's artwork can be. It's like, dude, I graduated when you were born and you draw better than me. But, I mean, good for them, but it's still like, I look at them and I'm like, I even get thoughts like, man, they're probably looking at my art and thinking, wow, this lady is, in her mid-30s and she still can't draw and she still draws like that. It's no matter, and, some people don't like to throw their age out there, but, I don't care. Because you know why? When I see people around my age and they're not, and they have self-doubts too, and they're not the best, but they're good, and they have self-doubts and all this other, it's like, you know what, and we all gotta stand by each other, gotta support each other, we gotta just say, you know what, and it makes me feel good that, hey, you know what, I'm not alone in this. And I think this color I'm using for the hair is called Natural Lipstick, which you probably can't see. Can you see it? You can't. It's blurry, but take my word for it. So I bought it. A lot of colors. I bought a ton of colors last year. But this is the second, because I keep using the same colors for her hair and skin, and so I run out of it a lot. So, but this one seems a lot lighter than the last one, but I'll just color over it again. See, I think no matter where you're at in your art journey, there's always room for improvement. You're not the worst. You're not bad. Yes, there are other artists that are probably half of your age, quarter of your age, that can draw, quote unquote, better than you, but don't let that get you down. Don't let that hold you back. Think how far you've come from, I remember from when I first started drawing comics, I actually probably didn't really start drawing. I drew since I was a little kid. When I was little, I wanted to be an animator, but it didn't happen because I didn't want to move to another state. So what I decided, probably my senior year of high school, was, you know what, I actually in 8th grade, I remember taking a class on, it was just a regular art class, but in one particular, we had to draw a comic. And I was not good at drawing a comic and drawing people. At the time, I think I was so into My Little Ponies back then, and drawing things like Animaniacs and, whatever cartoons that were out there. And I was just not good at drawing I don't know, I drew Animaniacs, but a little bit. I had a tough time drawing them too. I had a tough time drawing a lot of things. But I just had the imagination and I kept going because I just enjoyed it no matter how bad it was. But actually, I think more than anything, I drew animals. Like I drew horses and because I loved horses and deer and, you know, like dogs and cats, and so that birds, I just drew nature a lot. And so when it came to actually drawing a comic, I'm like, I don't know, like I want to draw like one of those funny comics, you know, you see in the paper, and you know, but I was just not good at it. So I kind of thought for a little bit, I'm like, I'm not really that good. Maybe I shouldn't even bother. And so then I decided, you know, then I was like, well, maybe I'll just stick to writing, because I liked writing too. Well, here I'm not really that great at, you know, fantastic at writing either. Like I tried to write a novel, that didn't work. So later, then I discovered anime and manga, and, you know, that comics could have stories behind them. And I'm like, maybe if I do that, maybe if I just get into comics and post it online. And while I was doing that, little did I know there was actually a world called webcomics, which so I was making comics for the internet, and I didn't even know that it was already a thing. So that's kind of how I started, and I guess what motivated me is I saw, because I was like, you know, my stories are alright, but they're not fantastic. And then I saw a lot of, you know, shows that I'm like, man, I could do better than that. And this is even with a team of people working on this show. And it's like, they come up with this crappy writing. I could do so much better. And that's kind of how this was born. And that's how my characters and my story was born. And even though, well, depends on your take on my story. Whether you like it or you don't. It's, I think I mean well by it, and I had fun with it, and that other people enjoy it, and I think that's what matters most. And if I have a few people buying it, then, you know what? Then it can't be all that terrible. So right now, I'm still learning. I actually just only picked up drawing with Copics probably about maybe 2 years ago. My parents bought me for my birthday a huge set of Copics, and my, you know, back then she was both of my nieces, my one who is 10 now, but at the time she's probably like 7, 8, was using my markers more than me, using my Copic markers. But, you know, she's like, these are very expensive markers, you be very careful. You know, I set some ground rules, and she was like, okay. And when she comes over, to this day, she's like, can I use your special markers? Sure, go for it, girl. But you know the rules. Follow my rules and you're A-okay. And she does perfectly well, and she gets better, and she sits with me, and she wants to take like little drawing lessons, and you know, she you know, but I think her heart right now is in music and in she's in plays. She gets like the lead role in a lot of plays, and she loves dancing, so I think she's more focused on that than she is drawing. But hey, it's anytime she decides, hey, I want to get back into drawing. Hey, you know, you want to draw too? Go for it, girl. You do whatever you want. So another nice thing I'll do is I'm trying to find a good shade for the pants. Color, I want a blue. And what you want to do is test it out on another sheet of paper. That is a bright blue, but you know what I might do? I might color her pants with this. And then overlay it, because that is really bright. And I do need more markers. And what I really need is one that is nice blue like this, just a little bit on the gray side so it looks more like jeans. And I'm almost done. So yeah, I started comics later, probably, well, like I said, I started in around high school, but just after I graduated was probably when I started posting it online, like back in 2003, 2004. So, and it's, you know, and another thing, when you're feeling down about your own artwork, look back at your old stuff. You're like, wow, yeah, that's crummy. I did so much better now. And you'll instantly feel better. And okay, so I'm going to overlay it with cool gray. That's better. That's much better. I have a sip of coffee. And that's about it for now. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to see me draw in the future, let me know. Yeah, so I'd really like to make more of these videos. I'm going to keep drawing things like this, probably, you know, make some comic pages. I'm going to be working on the next page soon, so maybe I'll do a little like sort of tutorial, talk and draw type of thing with that. Hope you liked it, and see you guys next time.